All right, we're live. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Legacy Builders Unleashed podcast. I'm here with a very special guest, somebody that I highly respect, highly value as a friend, who just kind of landed in my life at the perfect time. And we have had nothing but fun ever since. Welcome, Dr. Amber Joy Daniel, to the podcast.
Oh, thank you so much, Melinda Colon, the one and only.
Thank goodness, right? Like, I don't need any more Melinda Colognes in my life, okay? Because
Well,
it's a
we could
lot.
take a baby one. We could take a baby one named after her mama. Yeah. Okay, we could take yes. I have a little joy. I have a little joy, so we could
That's
take
true.
we could take some
Yeah,
little mini me's. Yeah.
yeah, that's true. I love that. Okay, so tell everybody about you. There's so much to say about her that I want to make sure that you guys are listening and leaning in wherever you are when you're listening to this, watching this, because here's the thing. What Amber does, what Dr. Amber Joy does, is she unlocks people. And she
Mm,
does it in a way that just transforms your perspective on things. You might be thinking to yourself, I just can't. I am going to be alone. I am lonely. And it may be that it's just that you need to just be unlocked. Like, just need to relinquish and release something that's been holding you back. And that's what Dr. Amber Joy specializes in. So without further ado, I just wanted to dive into like what she does. And I want to share it with you guys her bio so you could really understand who is in your midst. Because when you understand who's in your midst, it's going to be a different thing. All right. So Dr. Amber Joy is a trailblazing wife, mother, author, and founder of Destiny Strategists. She's also the founder of the Heart Spa and the Transilience Podcast, a catalyst for transformational change. And she has dedicated her life to empower individuals and families to step boldly into their divine destinies. Together with her husband, Dr. Dane Daniel, she leads a global movement to strengthen marriages, restore family legacies, and unlock the true potential of financial and time freedom, all while fostering vibrant, disease free lives that enable multi generational kingdom with a capital K impact. She's renowned for her extraordinary ability to see the potential in others. And Dr. Amber Joy has been celebrated as an innovator across diverse arenas, from education and media to spiritual leadership and high impact mentoring. She's a former high school and university educator. I want to make it university educator, excuse me, news anchor, counselor, and pastor. And she brings unmatched wisdom and a multifaceted approach to every life she touches. Indeed, Dr. Amber's most profound work lies in transforming the lives of singles, equipping them to break free from cycles of limitation, and uncovers their ultimate purpose. Her unique strategies have sparked thousands of breakthroughs, birthing marriages, building legacies, and establishing countless lives on solid foundation of success. With an unparalleled reputation as a visionary who goes straight to the heart of the matter, Dr. Amber Joy is not just helping people change their lives and charge for it. She's redefining what's possible for future generations. Her work is a testament to the power of purpose, perseverance, and divine alignment.
mm.
So, are you ready to move from where you are to where you're destined to be? Dr. Amber Joy is your guide to a transformed future.
I have to do an Eileen there. Mm, mm, mm. I mean, guys, all of that is true. Thank you so much, Melinda. Thank you so much. I've never heard anybody uh, say it or share it quite like that. But I think that that's because you know me and you know those things as fact for yourself. And guys, we've had the honor of having Melinda be part of our Transilience tribe, come to our very closed Destiny mentoring group and share there. And for me, it's such a blessing to have been connected to Melinda in the way that it was really a meet cute.
Mhm.
We
100%.
Guys, I was just doing my own thing, minding my own business on a day I was very busy, and I heard this still, small, sweet kind of voice. Wasn't a stern voice. And the voice that I know said, You need to be, you're okay. You need to be on this, you need to be on this training today. I'm like, government contracts. I'm not looking for a government contract, but I was like, yeah, but the people who are doing it go to support them. I was like, okay, who's doing it? Oh, it's Melinda. I've seen her. I've seen her. Yeah, I'll go to support her. You
Yeah.
know, when you get tricked into doing something that you had no idea. And I came and I would say since then, my life has absolutely transformed. When
Wow.
someone can open your eyes to possibilities, intergenerational. When I came to GovCon Masterclass that day, and I know we're not talking GovCon today, but what we do is so aligned. People have
Yeah.
to understand. This is legacy builders, guys. This is legacy builders.
Yeah.
Everything I do is because of legacy. When I thought when I married this historian, this professor, and when I became Dr. Amber, the plan was I was already adjuncting. I was going to continue adjuncting. I was going to become a full professor like he was. And that was it. I mean, come on, 6 figures easy, right?
Right.
In that income, 5 degrees between us. You can't go wrong.
Wow.
And then when we began to get the idea that
Yeah.
our destiny, that we were called to the family pillar,
Mm.
and that we were to work primarily with singles,
Mm.
not just to establish them on the mountain of family, but to partner with them so that they would have success in every sense of the word. You know, this great book that we read that is the bestseller of all time that says, if you do life a certain way, you will have life and have it more abundantly. And the proponent of this book came that we would have this life and have it in all of its vitality and vibrancy and everything about it. And that
Yes.
includes wealth. You
Mhm.
can't, to some degree, you can't have true freedom without
Mm.
having wealth, time, and health freedom. And
Mm.
so that whole of life focus, that whole of life um, approach to getting married, having a family, working through your career goals. That's what that's what we Destiny Strategists, my husband and I, we have been privileged to walk through with so many and we get to continue walking. Last night I spoke with a bride who got married from my home. She lived in another country. She married a
Awesome.
gentleman here and she came to she came and they stayed at our home because you're not coming to meet anybody and only going to a hotel. Okay, you understand? No hotel. You'll stay here. It's on my watch, right? And so about 6 months later, they were getting married. She went back to where she's from and he went back home. He's from another state, not too
Mm.
far. So Ohio was kind of
Good.
he's from Indiana. So, it's not
Oh,
too far away.
yeah.
So, he drove over, she planed over, and we got to spend a wonderful time with them. And it was their second anniversary last night. And so I
Wow.
called her late and she took the call. And then, it's like, well, you don't have to go, but we get to continue to walk
Mm.
with so many who have come through the process.
Mm.
But
It's so
I am
beautiful.
so, yeah, I'm so blessed, Melinda, to get to be here today and to share with your audience, with you guys, who we are and what we do.
There are so many things that I want to say. And I'm thinking about the legacy builders, those that are, just working so hard to create something great, that they know that there's a purpose, right? There's a purpose on why they're working so hard, why they need to lean on other resources to help them through this
Mm.
journey. And they feel alone.
Mm.
And they feel like, where is my person? That person just does not show up where I want them to show up. I just do everything I can. I try to, but it just doesn't work. What is wrong with me? That's usually the number one question that happens, right? It's like the first time I remember I was the oldest of all of my friends that got married and had kids. And I thought to myself, what's wrong with me? Do you get
I
that
know it
question
well.
often?
Yes. And not to mention the person who you thought it was and it didn't work out. And then you have to
Oh,
sing,
yeah.
Unbreak my heart. You know, all the slow break heart tunes, Say you love me again. Undo this hurt. And yeah. And the truth is that sometimes God is doing us a favor
Mm-hmm.
because who we are is not who we are meant to be. And I don't mean that in a bad way. What I mean is that you're becoming, and you're becoming something greater and something more wonderful and something bigger and wider and with more depth and capacity than you are at this moment. And guys, when that song came out, the young man I was madly in love with when I was 16, I was probably now 26, and we had been in a long-term
Yeah.
relationship. He married somebody else.
Oh, wow.
So
Oh, devastating.
talk about what is wrong with me. Yes,
Yeah.
and talk about unbreak my heart.
Yeah.
But the girl and the woman I was in no way encapsulates the girl and the woman I am today. And you know, I used to wonder why he quote unquote let me go. He saw. He saw and he knew and he understood that what I needed would be greater than where he
Yes.
was willing to go,
Okay.
more than
We're
he was willing to
yes.
be. I've actually never said that out loud. I didn't realize that that was actually sitting there because it's a question I had for many years. Why did he let me go? And that's the answer. Because it seemed to be a
Yeah.
conscious choice. There were circumstances that mitigated the breakup and the marriage to the other person, but there was a choice that he made, it seems knowingly. I don't want to say a choice of I am not enough,
Mhm.
but let's phrase it as who you really are and where I see you're going, you're going to need a little more than what
Mhm.
I have to offer. And sometimes that's still a
Ooh.
bitter pill to swallow. And it still makes you want to sing double. Unbreak my heart. I mean, release Tony Braxton, okay? Unlock her.
Yes.
Say you
Yes.
love me again. But, with the caterpillar and the butterfly,
Mm.
in your creepy crawly stage, you could be in love with the most handsome creepy crawly. But if he
Mm.
knows that he will remain, and I don't mean that in a bad way, it's just that we were just talking about
Yeah.
caterpillars and metamorphosis and butterflies. He knew I was going to become a butterfly, and he was
Yeah.
saying, go, fly, go, 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 go.
Yeah.
And so, what is wrong with you? I didn't get married till I was 37, till 11 years after that. Um, but this was my right person. And so what I initially opened my mouth to say was, your right person, yes, your right person may not be where you're looking for them because you're looking in your present. And your
Mm.
right person is in your future.
Yeah.
So in my case, I lived on the islands and I was
Yeah.
looking on the islands. The islands was all I knew.
Yeah.
And what? To go online? People don't do that. God doesn't forgive people who do those kinds of things. Online, that is a sin. That is
That, yeah.
bad.
It's
That is
huge.
evil. Okay?
Culturally
That is
huge.
taboo.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. And so we did it with my family and I. We did it with stealth. We told no one in case what everybody else was saying was true. We don't want to broadcast that we were so stupid to do it, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was matched to one person in the whole world and refused to talk to him
Wow.
for months. Refused to talk to him for 3 months. His name was Dane Daniel, and he was a historian. Did I mention he was a white dude and that he lived in the United States?
You're like, what is this?
Like completely off the radar. I mean, every category of completely off the radar.
You're like, God, I know you don't see color and everything, but
Not just that. I mean, a PhD.
yeah.
I didn't tell you, but I Googled him. I was a news hound. I could find anybody and I could find anything. Beware of the amber. I called someone like 2 weeks ago. She's like, how did you get this number? She's a
Oh,
senator of California.
there
She
you
said,
go. Oh, I might
how
need
did
you.
you get
Okay.
this number? Okay, strike on the record. It's like, I promise you that the skills I have, nobody else is going to be calling you. I promise you. So we found him. And
Yeah.
when I read about who he was and what he had done and the
Mm.
awards that he received, I thought to myself, I can't marry him. He's too big and I'm too
Oh,
small. I was like,
wow.
he is a person. I was reading about him in the Washington Post.
Wow. You
He
were
lives in
saying he
Ohio,
was
but I
too
was reading
big.
about this dude. Yes, the articles I
Wow.
was finding, this was an article in the Washington Post about an award that he had won while he was at the Dibner Institute, which is in Harvard.
Yeah.
And I was like, I
Wow.
can't marry him. I'm a little girl from the islands. And so
Wow. Mm.
that we're still answering the same question. Why is my person not showing up where I want him to show up?
Mhm.
Maybe you're wanting him to show up in a small place,
Yeah.
in the wrong place, in a low place, in a past place, or even a present place. And what God is saying is that your future is so big and so bright. I need to move you out. I need to move you up. And that's where he is.
Yep.
And when you begin to set your sights on what is true of you, this is just kind of like what we were talking about privately. When you
Yeah.
set your sights on what is true of you, then you will find your guy. And I think that, like
Yeah.
Melinda said, we unlock people. I think that's the most fun part of what we do. It's it's not the easiest work in the world
Mm.
to help a person uh come into why on earth am I here and what was I born for? And
Mm.
then how do I flesh it out
Mm.
in fitness, finance, family, fulfillment, friendship, and fun? How do I do that? But it is the most rewarding. And
Yeah.
for the educators out there, that teaching, it doesn't pay the most, but it is probably after motherhood, it is probably one of the most rewarding for a little bit of money jobs there is. But the personal reward of seeing the students win is so much. And we get that on steroids.
Wow. There's so much I want to, I just, so intuition, it's this intuition that this ex that you had such a love for, like he deep knew that you just like, I'm not for her. She is for something bigger. And what a gift, what a reward, because we've heard, you and I have, I'm sure we've both heard stories of where there's bigger people in smaller relationships and they're suffocated because of selfishness. Like how selfless that is to say she's worth more than what I can offer
Yeah.
her. I can't wrap my arms around her. Like it's just I'm not enough. She needs more. And then you find this man who you're like, whoa, he's huge. His arms can wrap around me twice. And 4 times, 10 times, yes, way more. And I don't think because you're looking at yourself from the past instead of the future, And that's huge. Like that's like a identity transformation all in itself. But then what is rippling is just this freedom of stepping out of what is comfortable culturally to then find that person. Like you're supposed to do these things in order to find the person. And we're saying that God says you have to be open to allowing him to flow however he decides to land
Mm.
on your doorstep. And you know what's really interesting? That's exactly how I met my husband. Like I was not even looking. I was, again, my friends were all married, all had kiddos, and I'm single. I'm like living my professional life. I'm getting up in my career. I'm getting notable in my industry. Um, I'm just the thing. And I'm like, man, why don't I have a mate? Right. And I'm, dating these people who are not the perfect fit. And then I meet my husband and I'm like, theology? Eh, I'm a creative. I'm loud. I'm like, I have a soft voice, but like, like, please don't test, right? Like, I am loud. I can be, you know what I mean? And he's like very quiet and just, less words, right? Just a lot of wisdom. And we're just not aligned. I thought, okay, he's going to be a great friend. In my mind, I'm like, he's going to be a great friend. But a part of relationship is friendship, right?
Right.
And so I
A
thought,
big part.
right. And it's like, I thought for myself, he's going to be a great friend. It's part of our story is we were friends for weeks, but he was in his mind dating me. Like he'd call me, hey, you want to go to the movies? You want to go to dinner? I'm like, cool. Who else is going? Right. Like just, and it just, I was not there. He was there. And that's exactly what I needed. I needed someone to treat me like and respect me like I needed to be treated and respected, as
Mm.
if like I am a treasure and I needed to be treated that way. And so that was the beginning of
Priceless
our
treasure,
relationship.
yes.
I want to talk about this because I see a lot of people go through it. We're going through the holidays right now. It's a
Mm.
brand new year. I'm going to just put a timestamp on it on this this podcast, because it's important for people to know that this is a transitional year. Every year is transitional, but this is a really big transitional year in life.
Mhm.
And no matter how old you are and where you are, like God is calling you to something really, really big. And a part of that is knowing, like, you don't have all the answers and that you need to step in the right direction. So I wanted to kind of transition to that, is like the rest of that story, from how you help, singles find their mate, but then also how to establish like a sound, I need to find another word, but like concrete foundation in their life, in family and faith and finance and all the other pillars that is so important in relationship. Because beyond the friendship that they have with a person, there are same things like culturally, societal, media, just everything is transforming around us. And of course, some
Mm.
shrapnel is going to hit us, right? So what do we do when we get hit? And how do we react when we find the one, right? Or when we were going through the journey alone? So
Mm.
I know that this is more of like a scenario, but I thought this might be really helpful for folks that are going through this right now and seeing the world is changing, and then also looking for their mate in the midst of fog, right? It's just like, oh, this tornado just doesn't seem to stop, but I'm still on this hunt. I'm staying on track.
Yeah.
What
And
does that?
And
Yeah.
let me add some real fire fuel to your fire. And most of the people going through this are also hearing tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock of their
Mm,
biological clock because they want to have a family. And
yeah.
so as the years go by, so we're coming to a transitional year end, a transitional year beginning. It's the holidays, and they're seeing everyone with their someone, and well, where's the one for me? And in the background, there's a marching band, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, and everything in their body may already begin to indicate that, oh, we're ready to wind down, not up. And that's a reality. That's that's the reality of the client that we serve. And I want to let you know that what we do is we give you the gift of time.
Mm.
As time is winding down, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, the amount of time that one would normally take to find, connect with, and commit to a mate, we're able to shrink that time. So, in reality, what we really give you is the gift of time through
Amazing.
a transformational journey, a quantum jump, if you
Mm.
will, a quantum leap, if you will, which is what transilience is all about. Resilience is when you face all of the changes, media, everything around you, definitions of things, meanings of things. All of these things are changing. I've said some bad things about who my daughter has to bring home. I want to see the birth certificate. You understand why?
Yeah.
Don't just bring Andre. I want to see the birth certificate, okay? You know? So,
That's
it's a
great.
bad joke, but I'm serious. You understand me?
Mm.
And so, in the midst of, that's not funny, but in the midst of navigating sharp shifts in precedent, in culture, in boundaries, and in the midst of that, trying to find someone with whom you match values, virtues, meaning. Life is in meaning. Life is in shared meaning. That's what you're looking for in a mate. Someone with whom your size mean a very specific thing.
Yeah.
And their hug or slap on the shoulder or pat means a very specific thing in that shared meaning. And there are strategies that you can use, and we actually stack them. We stack them, and by doing so, we collapse time. And
Mm.
so, if time is of the essence, then what you need is we have a saying you can have everything in life and destiny as long as you have the strategy. As long as you have cracked the code, then you could put it on autopilot or put it on steroids and you could get to the goal quickly. That's what we have done. We have spent years now on this. We have cracked the code and we could now actually get you there. We're actually releasing it on the 31st of December. We begin something we've never done before. We are releasing a 6-week quantum jump that will get you from, it sounds weird, but it's true. We've done it. We've taken out all the unnecessary pieces, and we can
Whoa.
actually get you from single to meeting, vetting, selecting someone in 6 weeks. If you're teachable and you're
Wow.
serious about finding your person in the first part of next year, and you know that this is for you and you know that it's your time,
Yeah.
then we have the strategies that can get you there. But Melinda, we know that a coach, we know that having someone, we know that we would not be wise to climb Everest alone because we read the books. Because the truth is, everybody is doing 100% of everything that they could do and should do,
Mm.
being the person that they are today. The secret really is you have a desire for more because who you are presently is not who you're meant to be. And the
Mm.
desire in your heart is because you haven't yet become that person.
Yes.
And so the process to get you there, the things it's be to have, you will have the things that you desire when you
Mm.
become that person, because then you begin to do the things that that person does, and then you would have the things that you desire. And that's our process, really. That's what we do in the Transilience jump. So there's hope.
There's hope and there's support, there's coaching in 6 weeks. I mean, you're a master at this, right? You guys are just masters at transforming people's lives in a short period of time. 6 weeks is no time at all. And so then, in the minds of those that are like, I want to, like, oh my gosh, December 31st sounds amazing. That's a perfect start to this program. Am I ready?
Yeah.
Am I ready?
No, we will get you ready. We will take, it's a decision. It's a decision that you will make. But once you have made the decision, then you're 95% there. It's 95% decision and then 5% strategy. And so once you will follow through, you'll have no problems at all. Now, this used to take us a year, some people 3 years, depending on the truth is, some people, one of our brides who just got married was at one point homeless.
Wow.
So the things that we're working from, don't think that it's everybody who is in the C-suite and everybody who has a nice office. And those are not all of our clients at all. The places that people have come from, some of those things are different. What you're working with
Mm.
is sometimes a little different. But now we have honed and refined and retried and stimulated, and brides have come through, and we've had the feedback, and we've had the that we can get you from matchless to matched to vetted to married, even if you want to get married that quickly. At least having the person that you want to marry in 6 weeks. We do have people who got a couple, they got married in a week. They met in person. They married at the end of the week. We were like, whoa, whoa. And we're like, no, we're sure. Still married, still going strong. 3 years in.
That's
So
wow. That's
yeah,
amazing.
it's not impossible. And the undertaking on our part, we it's a very heavy and
Mm-hmm.
serious and what's the word? It is a sincere is not the word. It is a sobering
Mm.
responsibility,
Yeah.
because we are guaranteeing that we're doing this in a safe process. You don't have
Mm.
to sleep around. You don't even have to date. With our process,
Yeah.
you don't even have to date. You will have to talk to a few people, but you won't even have to date. We tell you exactly how to connect. We teach you. And the idea is that, when you meet someone who is, let's say, government contracts, because that's Melinda's wheelhouse. We just have to come to her genius, right? You meet someone who can get government contracts and they win 2 out of 10. And then you meet someone who is, so that's someone who's proficient. Then you meet someone who's really, really good and they win 5 out of 10. And then you meet a master and they win 9 out of 10. And the difference between getting advice from a proficient or getting advice from a very good and getting advice from a master is that the master knows how to get you to become a master yourself. So you could do this. We see so many times that people they tell you what to do, but when you're on the date now, I tell you what to do before we go. But when you're there and I'm not there, what you gonna do? Come in the toilet and but what to say now? So every 5 minutes you're going to go to the bathroom. You can't do that. You have to be calm. You have to be this person on this
Mhm.
date so you can do and say and behave and everything in this way that this guy thinks, oh my gosh, yes, it's all real. She's legit. She's an angel come from heaven. And then get down on one knee and ask, will you marry? And
Mm.
so we do measure times. Not that we were meaning to, but we started to realize, like one of the brides, from the day he spoke with her online to the day he asked her to marry him, 15 days. No, 12 days. It was 17 days, including the 5 days she didn't realize he messaged her for the first time. 17 days to will you marry me?
Wow.
And so we began to realize that the time was collapsing as we didn't even realize it was happening. We just started to notice this thing is happening fast now. And we could tell real early whether this is going to be a stud or whether it's going to be a dud. We
Mm.
could tell real early in the relationships now because of mastery.
Yeah.
And so yeah, there is hope.
How did you get into this work? I'm
Mm.
like,
completely by fluke. Not really. It was waiting for me, but I had no idea. So my husband, when I was matched to my husband and didn't speak to him for 3 months, and then had a really complaining child conversation with God about the fact that I wasn't getting matched to anybody. He said, but you're matched to somebody. After all of that. After I opened up my profile to say lots of things I didn't want, divorcee with children. Yes, he could smoke. Yes, he could drink. Yes, and mind you, that's okay if you do all of that, but it wasn't what I wanted.
Mm,
And I put everything out there because I was only matched
yeah.
to one person and you pay your money. So then the floodgates opened and I was being matched to everything and everyone. And I tried to
Wow.
close it back. Yeah, I tried to close it back. And I still had more matches now, but I couldn't get it back as pristinely, accurately what I wanted before, which is a part of the process. You have to know exactly what you want, what you need for your future. Anyway, so
Yeah.
there were about four guys. I felt like I was supposed to read through the profiles of the people who I felt matched me. Unknown to me, I'm developing a system for online dating. I didn't know at the time. And systematically, very analytically, I was receiving instructions, that intuition, that inner voice, Holy Spirit, God, on how to select, how to narrow down. And we came down to about three. Said, okay, good. Now you could write all of them. And I sent all the same message and said, thanks for messaging Bob. Ping, thanks for messaging Bob. Okay, I said Bob, Dan, and the next one, ping, thanks for messaging Dane. I was like, Dane, isn't that the name of the boring white dude from Ohio? Except my little sister says he's nothing but boring. He's not boring at all. But I was so judging the book by its cover. Out of those three guys, one guy replied, and the rest they say is history. We spoke for 90 days, again, very strategic, very methodical. And by the 90th day, I was so madly in love that, I mean, like, if I didn't hear from him by a certain time, it was like the grass is not green, water is not wet, the sky is not blue. Like, come on. And he came to the island to see me. And guys want to do that. They want to know if you are real. They want to
Mhm.
make sure he had actually had the experience of going to another country. And he's talking to the girl who wrote him about loving Jane Eyre and all these old literature books. And so I said, so you really like literature and you like Jane Austen. And she's like, who? What? And he realized,
Wow.
okay, the person writing the letters was not the person who I'm actually
Who's
meeting today.
meeting?
So
Mm,
there are safety mechanisms that you need to employ. But unknown to me, I was making a system that
mhm.
others could follow. I had no clue. So he came uh, in the fourth month just to see if we were real, my family and I. And then in the fifth month, he came to get down on one knee and
Mm,
present his diamond ring. And in the sixth month, he returned with his family to marry me in a beautiful little ceremony on the beach. We had a big bram with hundreds of people who knew me like the week before. And then the actual thing, because my mother said, we're not going to have a church full with 1 million black people on one side and 6 white people on the next side. Because my mother was practical like that. I mean, just look at the imagery, right? My mother
Too
was
funny.
super practical that way. So we had a whole big ground for everybody who knew and loved us, and the whole church on the two sides was full of black people. you know, Island people all the way. And then it was just like 6 and 6, well, 6 and 12. and the actual ceremony. But I'm
That's
being
funny.
funny. So seriously, then you can hear from that story that that is not a normal timeline. And the
Yeah.
guy said it was 11 years ago. That was not a normal trajectory. And people who had known, now my public disgrace, when that good guy who loved me enough, respected me enough, cared for me enough to say, you're a butterfly, fly.
Mm,
Go spread your wings. You soar like an eagle girl. Go. Good people, good people. And I didn't see that for years. Good people. So between that was very public and very humiliating for me, though.
Yeah.
I was a media personality. Everybody kind of knew me. I was very popular, and everybody knew we had been in a relationship for a long time. Our names
Wow.
used to go together. So it was very
Wow.
humiliating, you
Oh
know.
my gosh.
Um, and so uncomfortable too, but you got used to it. And he married a great girl. They've got a great family and a great life. And so here is my turn now. And all of the people who watched me be humiliated, watched me be honored. I
Mm,
heard one of the young men from the island, he called me and he told me the story in the with the perception that they had, that he had.
mhm.
And he said, Amber, the definition of blessed is to be envied is the man
Mm,
who walks not
wow.
in the counsel of the ungodly, Psalm 1. And he began
Yeah.
to outline for me all the way that my husband came and how he came the first time and came the second time and came the third time and whisked me away. It's how they saw it,
Yes.
he whisked her away. He whisked the princess away. It,
Yeah.
it was very much of a fairy tale kind of story. And the news spread. And then singles who knew me started to ask, how did you do that? I had at one time a very high profile um really ex my first millionaire mentor actually. He called me one time to Amber,
Wow.
all respect to your husband and so on. He's very principled, very, he's like, good, all respect to him. Right, good. Now, and he had some children who I loved, and he told me, now, this is what's going on with the children. He told me this one, this one, this one. And I get now to the business. What did you do to get married? Just like that, because they
Oh, wow.
understood that I did
Yeah.
something.
Mhm.
They understood that I did something. People don't do that. It doesn't quote unquote happen like that to everyone. So how come it
No.
happened to happen like that
Yeah.
for you?
Yeah.
And so that's how I came to this. People started asking, and we were, would you mentor me? Would you train me? Would you? And then we are like, whoa, it worked. It worked for her. And her, and him, and her, and him, and her. And then we began to realize that I was supposed to leave the academy and
Mhm.
spend my life, my sweat, my tears, helping people make this journey. The thing about it, though, is that that's really clickbait.
Mm.
What we are really helping you do is live your true destiny. The bait is I want to get married, but the teaching is really kingdom life. And so,
I was gonna ask you about that,
yeah,
like trauma release,
yeah,
because I feel like we've talked a little bit about your system, and one of the things that really stood out to me, it's just brilliant because this is why Dr. Amber Joy is the master at this, is because you know how to release people from something that they don't even know is there that is causing them to just be stuck.
that is a
And I
fact.
right, so just share a little bit about that. I know that we can't talk about all the secret sauce,
Sure, sure,
but
sure.
it might help other people see that, oh, well, I do need this coaching because I cannot release this by myself, even though she just explained exactly how she did it. But it's the actual details of the system that are essential to get
Yeah.
the outcome, the transformation.
Mm-hmm. And so, Inside Out, if anyone has seen the Disney cartoon Inside Out, it's actually a beautiful example of how this really works in real time. Except that in Inside Out, the people on the inside, joy and anger and envy and ennui and all these people are the same age as she is. But in real life, at whatever age that trauma occurred. So let's say a girl is rejected by her dad at age 5. Let's say mom and dad got a divorce and daddy just quote unquote never came back. The part of her making decisions regarding men is 5 years old.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow.
And
Okay,
until,
so I want to make sure everybody understands what she just said.
Yeah.
So the trauma almost stops the emotion from growing,
Mhm.
and it stays in that age. Like, so if that
Stuck.
happened at 5, I'm going to stay 5 when it comes to this area of my life.
Romantic
Wow.
relationships. Yes, not colleagues, not friends, because your daddy's not your friend. And ideally,
Yes.
we don't even always acknowledge it, but the girl is looking for her dad because dad is the hero. Dad gives the girl the identity. He answers three questions. Who am I? Whose am I? And what am I worth? That's why
Wow.
every father should buy a gun, even if it's a toy gun that looks really good, and threaten young men with it, even if you don't mean to use it. Because what it signals to the girl, not the boy, to the girl is that I am worth fighting for.
Mm.
And so when daddy abandons that role, I expect every man to abandon me. Or I select for men who will abandon me. And so my quote unquote man picker is off because I keep choosing men who will abandon me because my prototype of a man is the man who left me at 5 years old. And even though I keep saying that's not what I want, because it's what I keep focusing on, even if I say it's not what I want, that's all that my attention is on. And so that's all that I attract.
Wow. Okay. Blowing my mind. I don't think I've ever heard you explain this in this detail. Wow. Okay. So this is life change. This is not just we're going to help you get married. This is like we're going to help you really create a legacy that is going to be a pleasing to God and
Enjoyable to yourself.
enjoyable to yourself. There's so many things. My mind is going a mile a minute because I'm realizing that this is really big. And so what you're doing is undoing a lot of pain.
Decades of it. Yes,
Wow.
decades of it in using a methodology, using a series of methodologies that do not require you to revisit or relive the pain. That is
Hmm.
important. Because there are lots of methodologies out there, but a number of them require the person to relive the pain. And so the person can't go fast. It still takes time, but when someone has to re-enter and relive trauma, sometimes we put them back. So they can't come to a session for another month because what we dredged up was so painful. They will cancel the next appointment and cancel the next appointment, cancel the next three, four, until they have capacity to face that level of pain and trauma again. And the methodologies that we use do not require them to revisit the pain in that way. And so I believe that that is one of the miracles, gifts that Heart Spa has been given so that you can actually deal with pain in a spa environment rather than in a hospital environment. Same thing, but
Wow.
different. You're
Yeah,
getting the
no.
same thing, but different. And we're not talking an American hospital where you have your own room. We're talking a good island hospital where everybody is in the same room and what you get, you get, you know. You know. Yeah.
Wow.
And getting to work with this is really what we do. This is how we do what we do. Getting to work with the inner parts of individuals' hearts, the trust, the responsibility, the vulnerability. Um, it is very precious.
Yes, of
And
course.
and in touching on, there are a few things you must touch in order for the lady to be whole enough to properly vet, identify, connect with a whole male who is also able to vet and identify and make wise choices.
Hmm.
But touching these things that will get her hair. You also set her up to be a beautiful, fitly framed Proverbs 31 kind of woman.
Mhm.
And that is that is our ulterior motive, to make you great. And so that you can have a family and be the destiny strategist of your own family. Teach this to your children and to their children and to their children and so on. Which is how when we met Melinda and I saw when you shared what government contracts can do to a family generations down. Come on.
Yeah.
Who would not
Yeah.
make the investment in this generation
Mm.
for 4 generations, 6 generations into perpetuity?
Mhm.
And that's what I saw when you shared government contracts with me, not in the formal business way, but in the legacy building way. And if you've not considered GovCon before, I really want to ask you to put on the lens of legacy building, because there's precedent for that. Permission to speak plainly.
Go ahead. I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, you know what?
Okay,
I don't know why we're
permission
being
to speak
formal.
plainly.
I don't know where that
Okay.
spirit came from, but let's just yeah.
Too. No, I I do have to go, but on the earth, there are different people of different religions, people of different persuasions, and so on. And you would notice that in the old days, it was Mirage and Sons Jewelry Company. It was so and so and Sons. It was everybody and Sons, because these men understood that they had to leave a legacy, not just for themselves
Yeah.
or their one son, but for their son's son. So it was
Yeah.
colon and sons. It was Daniel and sons. And the sons isn't just Daniel son, but the grandson and the great grandson and the great grandson. Okay, we don't build businesses maybe that way anymore. Maybe you should.
Mhm.
And then what an enormous and beautiful opportunity to sell your product to the largest US purchaser
Yeah.
of products of all time. Make a nice relationship with them, give them good service all the time, exceed their expectations all the time, blow them away all the time.
Yeah.
Once you're excellent, that's easy to do. If excellence is just within you, that's easy to do. And then you set up your children and their children, and it's theirs to lose. It's
Yes.
theirs to give away. But you have given it. And the Sam Walton example was just so powerful for me for that. Sam Walton, when he died, was the richest person in the world. But when he died, his assets were divided among his wife and 5 children. And then they became the second, Bill Gates became the first. They became the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh richest person in the world. So much was his wealth. But when
Yeah.
divided up and everybody got a chunk, they were still all
Yeah.
the richest people in the world.
Yeah. That
Talk
I
about
really
legacy building.
that's legacy building. And see, that's the thing is a lot of people think that, I want to tie what we do together for a moment so that people understand what we're talking about here. What is legacy builder? How does that apply to my life? I'm a single, I want to get married, I want to have kids, I want to have a family that's going to be prosperous, fruitful. I've worked so hard in my career. I'm ready to just take and put this energy towards building my family. I don't see where government contracting comes into play. Like there's so many other things going on. And here's the thing. Government contracting is a strategy. It's not the only vehicle that you need to implement to make money. But guess what? This is a vehicle that wealthy people at the top, even Sam Walton and his family, had used to get that money into the bank. It wasn't just all retail and just opening stores, it was also selling to the US government. So, what does that mean? That means that there is a opportunity for you to step into this new identity that you can say, I can have anything I truly desire. I can have anything I want, including the love of my life and have a renewed soul that is not like held back by the past, that is stepping into the future and saying, I choose with royalty. Like I am the person with the crown on my head, and
Yes.
I am stepping forward in royalty and saying that that is also what I want. That is also what I want. You don't have to select one. And I think that's where people are, right? It's like they think I have to either have to be a highly renowned professional, or I have to be a mother and a wife. And we're here to say, let's just do both. Let's just
Mm-hmm.
kind of be that Proverbs 31 woman and do all that has been planted in you, that truly is desire of your heart. And Amber Joy is here to help you through that transformation, so that when you are on the other side, when you have a foundation and you're confident in your ability to love and be fruitful, now there's abundance, and it's just joy that transcends from your life, and you get to add a ton of s's after, and sons and daughters. And this is not just a life that, this earth is not just a life for one generation to live. It is for generations to live. And so what legacy are we leaving? It's not even just wealth, it's also understanding financial literacy. It's also how do we treat each other, how to be a parent, how to be a father, how to be a mother, how to cook, how to clean, how to take care of yourself, how to think, how to pray, how to read. Like there's so much wealth to be created on this planet while we're here. It is our responsibility to take action and move forward. So if you are a single and you want to be a married, and now that you need to take action, sign up for the 6-week program. We're going to make sure to include that in the link description in the show notes, and also on YouTube, so that you can just take action now. There's no excuses anymore. It's not about, oh, I'm not ready yet, I don't know, I can't afford it. You don't even know what you can't and you cannot do, because guess what? All you need to do is take a step towards the direction that you're truly desiring to go in, and everything else shall be added. Everything else will figure itself out. So thank you so much, Dr. Amber Joy Daniel, for being here. And I really appreciate you. I value you and your friendship. And I just love that we're both unified in helping others become legacy builders. And really this is a journey. This is not just like, oh, we're a legacy builder and it's over. This is a journey. And then we get to teach our children how to be legacy builders as well, because that's biblical. All right. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank
What are
you.
some ways that people can actually stay connected with you and learn all about you in these programs?
I would say look at our website. That's a great place to join. Actually, we have a relationship readiness quiz. It's at the very top of the website. It's www.destinystrategists with an S.com, and everything else you need is there.
Awesome. Awesome. So you guys go to destinystrategists.com. We'll make sure to include that link in the show notes so that you can get into the program. You can take the quiz. You can really just take action in your life and transform it. This is a new year. This is a transformational year. You guys already feel it. We feel it. We need to take action. Let's all take action towards achieving and accomplishing our dreams, and not letting them lay in the side of the pillow. Like, let's do something about them now. Thank you so much, Dr. Amber Daniel, for being here. And thank you all for coming back and listening to the Legacy Builders Unleashed podcast. See you the next time.